Hello, my name is Mark Winter, and you are listening to Verse by Verse. Why are you always judging me? You can't judge me. Stop judging me. Have you ever heard some statements like that from someone? Have you ever told that to someone? Is it really true that God says you can't judge? Well, the verse that's being referred to is none other than the words of Jesus Christ in his Sermon on the Mount, specifically Matthew 7 and verse 1, that tells us, "Judge not, that you be not judged." Now, on the surface, to many people, this verse is stating that you and I are not to make judgments about anyone's behavior ever for anything. But is that really what Jesus Christ teaches? What do you think? Well, more importantly, what does God think and teach? In Ephesians 5, verses 15 through 17, God shares that we are to walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. We are to, it says there, understand what the will of the Lord is. Okay, well, maybe God doesn't want us making judgments. But wait, what about what God says in John 7 and verse 24? Because he tells us there, do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. Well, now, does Jesus Christ contradict himself? Does he say in one place, don't judge, and in another, judge? Boy, this could certainly seem confusing, but it doesn't need to be. You see, the short answer to whether or not God contradicts himself is a resounding no. God most definitely does not contradict himself. So there must be an explanation for what might at first appear to be a contradiction. Does God want us judging or not? Well, when reading Matthew 7 and verse 1, many people stop reading too soon. You see, they fail to read, or perhaps they simply fail to remember what is shared in the following verse. Verse 2 says, "For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it'll be measured back to you." Oh, well, this is interesting. What we see here is that Jesus Christ is talking about the manner in which we judge and the motive by which we are to judge. He's definitely not forbidding us to make judgments. Actually, the Bible teaches it is wrong not to make judgments, and that's what we saw in John 7 and verse 24. We are to judge with righteous judgment. You see, Satan is the one that has deceived people into believing the opposite of what God teaches. And frankly, that should not surprise us. I mean, after all, he was quite successful in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve when God told them that they would die if they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But of course, Satan told them just the opposite when he said, "Why, you will surely not die." You know, the last thing Satan wants you and me to do is pay attention to what God really is saying. If you were to continue reading in Matthew 7, here's what verses 3 through 5 share. "Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, 'Let me remove the speck out of your eye,' and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite! First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother's eye." You know, we can hardly escape the point that's being made. In our judgments, we should not exaggerate the faults of others, especially when our faults are greater than theirs. Doing this demonstrates our own pride and vanity, the exalting of self over others. So the point being made is not that we cannot judge someone's behavior. It is that we are to understand how we are to make a judgment. We are to make righteous judgment. In 1 Corinthians 6, verses 2 and 3, we read, "Do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world will be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Do you not know that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?" So far from being instructed not to judge, we are considered by God to be incompetent if we cannot wisely judge.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.